Morning, everybody. So let's start off with the Aussie and see what trade setups we can see today. Now, on the weekly, we still have these two areas of support and resistance. So the first one is the weekly Kijinsen, the red line, which I've drawn in, and then the next one is the previous low of this week here. Okay, you can see how we are battling to get through that level, which is 51,320. Okay. So let's just get down to the daily. There's nothing else here that stands out. So the pattern that's formed here is almost a continuation pattern and continuation with the red. So we've had a deep pullback. We came up and then we've had another deep pullback. So a break below this weekly Kijinsen is going to get us down to some bottom targets. Okay. And I think what we need to do is let's just put an in, because this 200-day EMA is definitely a level to watch. Okay, so let's put that in as purple. And do we have anything else here? No, you can see where we closed. So we did close pretty much on the weekly Kijinsen as well as on the daily Tikinsen. So right in that area. I don't see anything else here except to the upside will be the top of the cloud. Okay, and let's just make it green so we know that that's the top of the cloud. Okay, so those are the four levels that we can see right now. Quite a big zone of resistance. Okay, so let's just get on to Ichimoku. So Ichimoku perspective, the cloud was green. We had a second crossover here above the cloud, which is normally very bullish. Okay, but then immediately we pulled back below it. So and Chikuspan was above price. It's now come back into price. Being on the 4-hour, this could take another 2 or 3 candles before it pulls up, or it continues to the downside. So essentially we're in one pretty big range. Now the gap was closed on cash, but on futures I know this gap is still open. So therein is a little problem, and right now we have a couple of targets at the bottom, but I'm just going to get to the hour to tidy this up so we can see exactly what's going to happen. So these levels to the downside here, which would be that one, and obviously the gap close, all of these are pretty much at the bottom of this range. Okay, so you can see this area here is the bottom of the range, and this area up here is top of range. And you'll see it going a bit clearer on the daily, and if we block it out, let's just take it from there to there. Okay, so that's kind of the range. Now if we extend the range to the bottom, that will be the bottom of the range there, but obviously it's never an exact science, so you start looking for price action in the zone. And right now that zone is these 3 areas here. Okay, so let's get rid of that. From a Ichimoku's perspective, on the 1 hour we were bullish and then we pulled back in to price. So this is very much ranging. And currently we closed at 58.42 and we are on 51.046 at the moment. 10 cent is slightly up, which is probably why. So Hong Kong will be slightly up that's pretty much where we are with this. And I think for me, my bias is still to the upside, but ideally I'm looking for an entry down here. So if we can get a decent setup at this level, definitely look for a long, and target for that long is going to be the top of this range. Okay, so that would be a 1,000-point trade. Now, what may actually happen here is we may find that you can see we're at the 50% of the range at the moment. If this 50% holds and we start seeing bullish action at this point, okay, then the odds are that we'll break to the upside. So often what happens within a range is you start creating these higher lows. So you can see there's a low, here's a higher low. So if you create another higher low here, then the probability of it breaking to the upside is pretty good. The only concern that you're going to have, and I think let's just do this on, I think let's do it on the 4 hour, just to get some of the noise out the way. So the only concern that you're going to have is, so you can see there's the current trend line, okay? So you can see we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on this. So a pullback onto this trend line would be ideal, and then have a look what's happening here. If you just take, for example, this line here, I'll just box it for you. So you can see we have a flat bottom triangle, or flat top triangle, sorry. So the top is flat and we're trending to the upside. So often when this happens, when we're ranging like this, okay, and price keeps hitting its head at the top and then pulling back, but it keeps making higher lows. You can see there. So from there to there, higher low, even from here. There to there was the first higher low, then the second higher low, third, fourth higher low. So do we get a fifth higher low here and then break to the upside? A break of this trend line is obviously going to get us into a bit of a tailspin and moving to the downside. And then your downside target is going to start with that area there. Okay, so for me, my bias is long, and I suppose we should actually just move this and rather look for something in that area there. Okay, so something off the 200 EMA on the hour, or even where we are now, any bullish action here. So if we gap up and we pull back to close the gap, we get some bullish action, then there's definitely a long entry here. Your stop is going to be, oh, that's a pretty big stop, so that's 670 points. A break below this level will definitely indicate that there's more move to the downside. So what you can do is just, depending where price is, but if price gets onto the 200 EMA here, you can, no, I wouldn't, there's a gap at the bottom. So yeah, it's a difficult one. Ideally your stop needs to be below this level here. Okay, so that is where your stop needs to be. Yes, you can't really see that, so let's just do that. The stop needs to be there, and the reason for that is because you've got a magnet here of this gap. But that gap to close will mean that we break this trend line. If we break this trend line, then you can expect more downside. Obviously these tails first and then these tails next. And then what it may do is just form a bigger range and then start ranging on the upside. So watch this area for some bullish price action. If it doesn't come, then your orders will be down at this level. So just take it along from here. But I'm inclined to believe that we're going to get some positive price action here. And your target is still going to be top of range. Don't try and overshoot the range, because this area is pretty strong. So you've got this area and this area. And on futures, the gap is still open. The gap is up here. Okay. So Anyway, that is the Aussie. Hope it helps, and I'll catch you guys later.